I'm Sage Parker, 29, a lawyer in Dallas, Texas. At the family dinner for my parents' anniversary, I sat there stunned as my sister raised her glass with a sweet smile. To Mom and Dad, she said, for raising their only child so perfectly. My mother beamed, clinking her glass right away. My father nodded, grinning broadly. The room erupted in cheers. It hit me like a punch, as if I was invisible, wiped out. All those years of putting my dreams on hold, fighting for my place, gone in seconds. I wanted to shout to lay out every lie she'd spun, but the words stuck. Instead, I pushed back my chair and stood the sound cutting through the noise, then walked straight out. The door clicked shut behind me, muffling their laughter. 1 week later, when her whole scheme crumbled, they all wished I'd called her out right then. Have you ever felt completely erased by your own family? Drop your story in the comments and tell me what you'd have done in that moment. That dinner wasn't a one-off. It was the breaking point after years of being sidelined. Back when I was 18, I had a full ride to law school, my shot at making something real. But my parents pulled me aside, faces serious, and said we could only back one of us. My sister, 3 years older, was starting her real estate flips, and they saw her as the big winner. She's building an empire, my mother said, eyes lighting up. You'll figure it out, Sage. My father just nodded, arms crossed. I turned down the offer, went to a state school instead, and worked double shifts at a coffee shop to cover books and fees. Meanwhile, my sister got the family savings, thousands for property, down payments, marketing courses, even a fancy office setup. Every time she closed a deal, my mother hosted a celebration toasting her success. I'd be there, smiling through it, while my own wins, like acing exams or clerking for a judge, got a quick pat on the back. Nice work, my father might say, but then it'd shift right back to her latest flip. One evening, after pulling an all-nighter on a case brief, my sister hit a milestone with her first six-figure profit. My mother threw a backyard, gathering neighbors applauding as she showed off photos of the renovated house. I stepped out to the deck for air, chest tight. Grandpa found me there. You're tougher than they know, he said, voice steady. Don't let this dull your edge. He always spotted the little things. When I helped my sister with her contracts late at night, or bit back comments during my mother's endless raves about her. Grandpa saw how I'd been shoved aside. Fast forward, I built a solid practice handling civil cases in Dallas. I won settlements, earned respect from partners, but not from them. Calls home were all about her newest acquisition or investor meetup, partly funded by a stash I'd never accessed. I once shared news of a big win, getting a client 5 figures in compensation. My mother's reply: "That's great, but did you hear about your sister's downtown condo flip record time?" My father grunted, switching topics. It burned, but I pushed on, figuring my results would speak. Grandpa kept me steady, sharing tales from his days as a retired accountant, insisting truth catches up. You've got a fighter's instinct, he'd say. Don't bury it. The favoritism wasn't subtle. She'd drop by with stories of her deals, flashing designer watches from profits, while I paid off loans she never dealt with. The kicker came sorting old papers with Grandpa. He mentioned a family account set up for our futures, $10,000 total. I thought it was split, but his expression darkened. They handed most to her for investments. It felt like a slap. That could have cleared my debt. Maybe let me take on pro bono work. I confronted my mother, voice even. Why her and not me? She waved it off, scrolling her phone. She needed the boost for her business. It's paying off. My father shrugged like it was no debate. I left, fists clenched, seeing the pattern clear. She wasn't just favored, she was the only one who mattered. Grandpa caught my arm. You're built for more, he whispered. His belief cut through their dismissal. That history fueled everything after the dinner. Noticing her smirks, how my parents hung on her words. It wasn't random. Something felt wrong, and I was tired of ignoring it. Being sidelined lit a spark in me. I dove deeper into my cases at the firm, aiming to prove myself undeniable. But soon cracks showed up. Last fall, I was leading a fraud suit against a developer, one that could boost my rep. My boss had flagged me as the frontrunner for partner track. I'd prepped for weeks, lining up witnesses and docs for a key hearing. Then rumors hit. Colleagues whispering about tampered evidence in my file. I knew my work was tight, every chain of custody logged, but at the status meeting, my boss's vibe changed. "We need solid reliability here," she said, glancing away. The case got reassigned to a junior associate. I stormed out face hot, wondering who started the buzz. A few days later, another hit. I was co-handling a settlement for a client scammed in a property deal. My partner on it, a senior guy, backed out cold. "Too much risk," he said over the phone. When I pushed, he admitted hearing doubts about my ethics. "Nothing personal, but I can't stake my name." The deal tanked without him, and the blame landed square on me. My sister showed up that night, all fake concern. She'd caught wind through her network. "Ah, Sage, rough break," she said, patting my shoulder. "Hang in there." Her hug felt stiff, her grin too sharp. I shrugged her off, stomach churning. Why did she always pop up right after my flops? She suggested drinks to vent, but I passed. Her tone rang empty. It nagged at me like she thrived on my stumbles. The hits kept coming. Clients started bailing on smaller matters, citing lost confidence. I'd hear office chatter about my supposed slips. I double-checked my logs. Spotless. One day, I overheard two paralegals in the hall. "Sage is dropping the ball," one muttered. "That fraud case, messy." I cornered them. "Proof." They backed off, claiming it was just talk. Piecing the timeline, the whispers kicked off after I'd mentioned the fraud suit to her during a family chat. She'd acted pumped. "Sounds big. Details." But now her questions felt probing. I started eyeing her visits closer. She'd swing by my place with excuses like sharing a lead on a condo. "Take a breather," she'd say, eyeing my briefcase. It seemed rehearsed. Once she hung around during my client call, lingering by my desk. After she left, my notes felt shuffled. Paranoia? Maybe, but the pattern fit. Setbacks trailed her every time. I called Grandpa that night, laying out the case reassignments and failed deal. He listened quiet. "Smells like sabotage," he said low. He didn't name names, but his pause said enough. The doubts weren't coincidence. Her face kept flashing, those calculated smiles. I wasn't slipping. I was being pushed, and I refused to fall quietly. My gut said dig more. One evening, at her condo dropping off files she'd borrowed for advice, I heard her on a call door cracked, her voice sharp. "Sage poses no issue," she smirked. "I've kept her in check, career in freefall, and our folks barely blink." Heart racing, I edged closer. She chuckled cold. "All under control." I slipped away, unseen, her words searing. She wasn't just writing favoritism. She was engineering my fails to safeguard hers. Next morning, I headed to Grandpa's. He sat in his den, papers scattered. I spilled about the overheard chat, hands shaking. He nodded slow. "Time you knew this." He detailed the family account, $10,000 for our starts. But she'd siphoned $8,000 for her ventures, faking receipts as loans. "They approved it as her investment," he said, heavy. "Your cut, untouched." Betrayal hit fresh. That could have funded my bar exam prep. Instead, it padded her scams. "Why hold back?" I asked. He rubbed his eyes. "Hoped they'd wake up to her games, but they're hooked." He recalled her charming them with deal wins, downplaying my court victories. "She's a player," he added. His take confirmed my fears. She aimed to erase me. For another angle, I met my cousin at a downtown spot. She'd stayed out of the fray. I hesitated, then unloaded. The call, the account drain. Her coffee went cold. "I've seen it," she admitted, quiet. "At gatherings, they act like she's their solo kid. Barely nod to you." She frowned. "Last get-together, she bragged a huge flip, and your mother said, 'Proud of our girl?' I mentioned your recent win. They pivoted." It stung, but backed my pain. "This ain't right," she said, firm. "She's too slick." I probed more. She recalled a recent meal where they gushed over her, ignoring my updates. "I tried steering to you. Shut down." Her insights weren't ironclad, but they built the case. She vowed to watch closer, her stance shifting my way. Back home, her call replayed. "Sage poses no issue." Rage boiled, her support after my losses scripted. This went beyond rivalry. It was targeted. I paced, questions piling. Who was on that line? What else had she pulled? Anger turned to drive. This demanded answers. Suspicion turned solid. I reached out to my best friend, a sharp investigator with skills in tracing leads. We grabbed seats at a quiet cafe and I laid it all bare. The overheard snippet, the drained account, how my cases were crumbling. Her eyes narrowed. "Let's uncover the mess," she said, flipping open her laptop. We started with the ethics rumors at work. She knew how to follow digital trails, and soon we spotted an anonymous tip emailed to my boss alleging I'd fudged docs on a past settlement. The language was too polished, full of flair that matched my sister's pitch decks. We pulled the metadata, IP tied back to her office building. My grip tightened. This was real. Next, the family account. Grandpa had tipped the withdrawals, but we needed proof. My friend had a bank contact who pulled statements discreetly. There it was. $8,000 out-labeled as business loans routed to her account over 2 years. Smaller pulls followed, all hers. My name nowhere. I stared at the screen, pulse pounding. That fund was for us both. But she'd claimed it to fuel her schemes. We needed a confession angle. I set up a casual meet with her, framing it as career advice. I recorded it subtly, keeping cool. "Work's rough lately," I said. "Any pointers?" She laughed light. "Just push harder, Sage. Not everyone's built for the top." I mentioned the rumors. She hesitated. "Well, talk happens when you slip up. Be careful." Then the slip. "I warned you to back off. It's easier this way." I paused the app, her words hanging. Not outright, but close enough. My friend replayed it later. "This nails intent," she said tight. We held off deploying it, needing more locks. We scanned her public listings for clues. One property ad timed right after a big withdrawal, boasting upgrades. Caption screamed success, but I saw the truth. My share paid for her facade. My friend found another email to a client of mine claiming I'd ignored deadlines. Phrasing echoed her emails to investors. I looped back with my cousin, showing the statements and clip. At her desk, stacks high, her face drained. "Worse than imagined," she said. She shared an untold bit. At a holiday meal last year, my mother had asked her to back my sister's next venture, calling her the family carrier. My cousin pushed about me. "Brushed off? Said you're fine on your own?" My father echoed it, silent. "They're fixated," she added, bitter. "Like you don't count." It fueled me. My cousin recalled them discussing another advance to her for a key project, more hidden cash. "No mention to you," she said, sorry. I nodded, gears turning. The email's transfers audio. It stacked up. She'd leveraged family resources and my standing as her ladder. My friend and I spent nights sorting it, tightening every thread. This wasn't for me alone. It was a full dossier. By week's end, the puzzle locked. Fake tips tanking my rep's stolen funds, her veiled admission. My cousin's account sealed the bias. I sat reviewing files, resolve stealing. This reclaimed my ground. The anniversary dinner replayed. Her toast, their cheers. I could have exploded there, but held. Precision mattered. That week sharpened my plan. Her latest investor pitch loomed, her peak. I drafted a tight report, attachments ready. My friend compiled recipients. Family, her backers. My firm leads, even that senior partner. Timing hit perfect. I wanted her to crash at her height. Her pitch day arrived. I hit send on the report, pulse steady. It went to my parents. Grandpa, my cousin, her top investors, my firm's partners, and that senior guy who'd bailed. No drama, just facts. The fake emails, bank transfers, her recorded warning. Evidence did the talking. Replies flooded in fast. My cousin texted, "Bold move, standing with you." The senior partner called, voice stunned. "Had no clue, Sage. My bad for doubting." He offered to revive our scammed client deal. Small win, but it landed. Her world cracked wide. Investors pulled out, citing trust breaks. Her listings tanked, buyers ghosting. Social feeds flipped, comments ripping her schemes. She posted a shaky clip denying it all, but followers ditched by thousands. Damage stuck. My mother rang, voice cracking. "How could you ruin your sister like this?" I kept even. "Just shared facts, Mom." My father tried, next, gruff. "You've wrecked everything." I ended the call, hands firm. They'd backed her blind. Truth overrode their spin. Grandpa messaged simple, proud kid. Her texts hit next. Rage mixed with pleas. You're jealous, Sage, always chased my spot. I ignored them. Her games built her house. Facts tore it down. My cousin stopped by, face set. Your parents are spinning it as your tantrum, she said. But I've shown the files around. Truth's winning. The senior partner emailed too, apologizing for the ethics pullout. Let's team on that fraud suit. Your lead. Allies grew where doubt once sat, but I needed iron justice. Next day, I hired counsel and filed suit against her. Defamation from the emails, theft of the $8,000. Courtroom hummed quiet as my lawyer laid it out. She sat opposite, jaw-locked, usual poise gone. My parents watched, eyes flicking between us. I held steady. Judge reviewed the bundle. IP traces statements audio. Clear pattern of interference. She ruled. Awarded me $8,000 damages plus court costs. Gavel dropped. Her face went white. Her operation officially done. Right there, I faced her. You thought you could bury me, I said, clear voice cutting the room. But I'm the one holding the shovel now. Gasps rippled. She sputtered. This is insane. My mother gasped. Sage. My father stared silent. Investors in back nodded slow. That line hung. Pure gut punch. She lunged verbal. You'll regret this. But security edged her back. My lawyer clapped my shoulder. Clean win. Outside flashes hit, local press sniffing fraud ties. Her name smeared headlines. My parents trailed out, my mother whispering to my father. They avoided my gaze. That moment sealed it. No more shadows. Her empire of cons collapsed under weight. My firm buzzed. Partners circling for my next case. The senior guy pitched joint strategy over lunch. You're the real deal, he said. Momentum shifted hard. Investors didn't stop at pulling funds. They launched their own claims, dragging her into audits. Her firm shuttered within months, listings yanked from sites. Word spread fast in Dallas circles. No one touched her proposals. She packed up, heading to Houston for a fresh start, but the stain followed. Reporters dug into her past flips, uncovering shady valuations. Her network evaporated. My parents felt the fallout hard. Relatives who'd gotten the report distanced themselves, skipping invites. At their club, whispers turned to stares. My mother tried one last outreach, showing up at my office unannounced. We miss you, Sage, she said, eyes pleading. Let's talk it through. I shook my head. Too late for that. My father emailed sparse, family's family. I archived it unread. Their defense of her had burned the bridge. I cut all ties clean, blocked numbers, returned mail. Freedom hit like fresh air. No more chasing approval. Grandpa backed it over lunch at his spot. You've carried enough, he said, fork pausing. Focus on your path now. My best friend helped rebuild, scouting new cases over takeout sessions. She drafted a piece on professional sabotage, inspired anonymously. You're unbreakable, she said, grinning. My cousin ramped up too, pulling me into her circle with game nights and her crew. No more outsiders, she said one evening, passing snacks. Her support anchored me. Even the senior partner turned ally, co-leading a high-stakes mediation that netted our client 6 figures. Your edge is killer, he admitted during debrief. Trust rebuilt, doors opened. The award cleared my last loans, but the real gain was peace. I grabbed a cozy unit near the firm, filling it with shots of me with Grandpa, my best friend, my cousin, reminders of chosen bonds, years of dimming for them over. I pitched bolder cases, landing a spot on a bar panel. My best friend cheered each step. Own it, she'd text. Her life spiraled further, a civil suit from a former partner echoing my win. Through my cousin, I heard she'd downsized, scraping by on odd gigs. My parents hosted strained events, my absence noted. They sent cards, but I shredded them. Their choice sealed it. Grandpa shared wisdom during walks. Blood doesn't bind, loyalty does. His steady hand guided me forward. The senior partner invited me to mentor juniors, solidifying my role. Cases piled up, wins stacking. My best friend and I planned a trip. First real break in years. You earned this, she said. Cutting them loose wasn't cold, it was survival. Their favoritism poisoned everything. Now unweighted, I thrived. That report didn't just expose, it liberated. They clung to her illusion. I built reality. Hindsight. They'd rewrite that toast. But my move, permanent shift. Momentum carried me further. I took the bar panel role speaking on ethics in fraud cases to packed rooms. Crowds nodded at my points drawn by the real stakes. My best friend tagged along to one snapping pics. "You're lighting it up," she whispered during Q&A. Questions poured in. How I spotted interference rebuilt trust. Each answer sharpened my edge. The senior partner pushed for more, co-authoring an article on sabotage tactics for a legal journal. "Your story's gold," he said over coffee revisions. It published wide citations rolling. Firms reached out offering guest spots. My docket swelled with referrals, clients seeking fighters like me. Grandpa beamed at our next meetup. "Knew you'd soar," he said, clinking mugs. My cousin's kids drew me cards after her stories, one saying, "Super lawyer aunt." Bonds like that fueled late nights. My best friend and I hit that trip. Beach drives in a sedan, no agendas. "This is us now," she laughed, wind-whipping. One morning, a new client walked in. Mr. Fujita, a developer hit by a scam mirroring hers. "Heard your win," he said direct. "Need someone who gets betrayal." We dove in, uncovering forged contracts tied to her old network. Midway, the detective I'd tapped before called. Found more. Emails linking her to his loss. Detective Serrano's trace sealed fresh evidence. We built the case fast. Court reconvened months later, her name dragged back in as co-conspirator. She testified, shaky, dodging my stare. Judge hit hard. Fined her another $5,000, ordered restitution. "Pattern of deceit ends here," he stated. Mr. Fujita shook my hand outside. "You saved my business." His gratitude hit deep. Justice rippled beyond me. My parents caught wind through news clips. My mother mailed a letter. "Seeing you on TV hurts." I read it once, then filed away. My father called from a blocked line somehow. Proud, despite it all. Silence was my reply. Grandpa advised soft, "Let actions speak." Their regret too distant now. Her final blow came via public record. Bankruptcy filing, assets seized. Houston gig fell through. She bounced between temp roles. My cousin updated quiet. "She's alone now." No sympathy stirred. Choices made her bed. Reflecting clear, I see the hard truth. Family isn't blood. It's who fights for you when lies fly. Don't let betrayal chain you. Expose it, claim your ground. If someone's dimming your light to shine theirs, cut the cord. Stand tall, voice steady. Truth always cuts deeper than silence. I've walked from a circle that erased me, built one that lifts me. Grandpa's wisdom, my best friend's fire, my cousin's warmth, allies like the detective and Mr. Fujita. They're my real home, and I'm thriving. Thanks for sticking through my story, everyone. If it hit home, smash that subscribe for more real talk wins and drop in comments. What's your family betrayal, and how'd you fight back? Let's lift each other up.